Are you looking to grow and are you losing your mind trying to figure out what to do, how to grow, how to add people? Holy cow, it is an uphill battle. My friends Zach and Ana Spradling, they have been crushing it when it comes to agent attraction and recruitment. I love what they're doing. I love these people. Oh my gosh, they are a power couple from Kansas City. I'm going to ask all the questions that y'all want to know today, and I get to learn right alongside you. So Zach and Ana, thanks for being here. Appreciate it so much, guys.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Eric.
You got it. Let's talk about who you are before how you kick butt. Ana, you are the original Spradling in real estate. How did all that come to be? And if you're wondering her accent, it is not Norwegian. So give us a breakdown of all these great things that have led you to real estate.
Yes, I'm from Brazil, so that's why I have an accent. It's never gonna go away. But I've been a realtor for 12 years. I was a realtor for about 9 years before Zach joined with me. He has been in my team. We created our team 3 years ago, and we never looked back, for sure.
Zach, what were you doing previous to real estate, and why did you decide to jump in and partner with your wife?
Well, I was doing my true calling, I thought before, and that was being a railroad conductor. And it turns out that didn't fit my personality profile like I thought it would be. It was actually just a means to an end. It provided income and benefits, and we had a family and security, but it felt like I was in a prison cell, honestly. And a very creative mind, and I needed a place to express that creativity. And so on my time on trains, I just spent time masterminding, getting involved in all like the online groups. Lab Coat Agents was a big one. It's kind of crazy now, but a couple of years ago it was really helpful. And just researching how I could create a job for myself. And we kind of naturally just thought about real estate and really went down that journey of how we could grow.
And you jumped in kind of in two roles. You were a showing partner, leveraging Ana, who had a lot of business, as well as an ISA, converting a lot of the leads that you were purchasing, right?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
Okay.
When you first started, we decided to do separate, but then I do my own thing, you do my own thing, but then we saw that it would be better just to leverage it out, and he was a showing partner in the ISA, for sure.
Okay, beautiful. And now you run a team with EXP out of Kansas City. Give us a breakdown of what your team looks like today, and then we're going to pick apart all these fun things on how it came to be.
Yeah, so right now it's Ana kind of as the CEO and me alongside of her, both kind of the visionaries. And then we've got a director of operations. His name's Tyler Stock. He just does a lot. He's like an integrator. If you run on the EOS system, he builds out a lot of the vision stuff that we cast. He's building that out. And then we've got a lead director. And he acts as an ISA too. That's helped managing a lot of our agents, the accountability on the leads side of things. Then we've got a transaction coordinator. And then right now we've got 20 agents that we're running through.
You guys have been on a roller coaster for as long as I've known you. I think we're about 2.5 to 3 years into our relationship. I first and foremost consider you both friends. I've had the privilege of coaching you. I've had the privilege of having you in our masterminds. And I enjoy doing life with you guys. And I've seen you go from like losing your life to this business in terms of all your time in production to then growing massively, to then learning from some mistakes along the way, to then now really dialing in more and more so every day how you're finding your success. And so I'm going to ask a whole bunch of questions throughout this. Those of you watching live, again, here's your reminder to ask some questions as well. And I will tee Zach and Ana up with that. But I want to ask this. When it comes to agent attraction and recruiting, how seriously do you take it? Because I think that for some people, we hope great people land on our doorstep. We hope they're going to show up. And I think hope is a great thing to have, but a pretty crummy business strategy. So what does your time and intention look like to go into this?
So the agent attraction and the recruiting side is huge. It's everything on the growth of our business. To us, there is this messy middle that you can get stuck in. And, you can build yourself out very leveraged in the showing partner. And that's what we did for several years. And it was incredible, very profitable. And then as we tried to grow, we get stuck in this kind of messy middle where you can get really bogged down. So we're still in that, trying to get out of it. And the only way we can get out of it is through the growth and bringing on agents in our world. So that is my key responsibility. And I'm time blocking out 3 hours a day to the recruiting side of that business. And
let's pause. I hope people are taking notes. 3 hours a day. I was just in conversation with our mutual friend, Mike Novak, and I have the privilege of coaching him. And yesterday he told me I have my calendar dedicated, a third of my time to running my team, a third of my time to personal production, and a third of his time to growing his team and his sandbox and his downline. And whether it's agents for his own team or agents for, he's at Real, you guys are at EXP, it's all kind of the same stuff, right? And so you're doing 3 hours a day, Zach. Anna, are you doing 3 hours too?
He is the one responsible for the lead. We call it lead generation, right? So like we kind of like it's the same exact mindset. Like before he used to do the showing partner, it was like 3 hours a day block to follow up with lead. Mm-hmm. Now 3 hours a day to follow up with the agents recruiting. So it's the same mindset, but instead of leads, now is our agent leads. So that's what and also like for us, it's also a mindset is not just necessarily the time block, but who we are. So we feel like every time, every post or anything that we do on social media is like recruiting, making them know you and like you. So it's just like every time is the mind shift. And now it's like, okay, how can my posts on social media reflect and recruit and make them like us to join our team too? So it's like it's on the go. It's not just waiting for the end of the month to say congratulations for what you did. It's like on the go, like every day is opportunity to promote the agents or do something to attract.
Yeah, Zach, you've really been like a hype man for people on your team. They get something under contract. All of a sudden I see an Instagram story about it. And somebody closes their first deal and there's a Facebook post that comes. Like, are you only posting during your scheduled time, or is this such a lead generation or agent attraction lifestyle now that you're just doing it out of habit?
So a lot of it is out of habit. Whenever I might be laying in bed, and before I go to sleep, I'm just decompressing and I'm like, okay, I need to get this out. And I'm doing it whenever I have time. I remember.
So you were not massaging Anna's feet, right? You are instead
not massaging
on social
Anna's
media.
feet.
Okay, this is an intervention here. Anna actually brought me here today and all of our friends watching to try, keep going.
A story like back when I was on the trains, like researching how to do business and lead generate, like I was following Mike and Rachel Novak before they even knew us. I was following them through social media, and I had reached out to Mike before he knew me. And I was like, hey, on this lead follow-up sequence, like I'm trying to time block my time. When should I text the lead? How many times a day? And all this stuff. And he's like, dude, you can't wait to do it in that block. You just have to do it in between showings, in between this is part of who you are if you're a one-man show doing this. So I do time block, and I'm very intentional in that time block, but I'm also intentional in those little moments between it. Like that's who I am. Like I'm trying to celebrate the wins of the agents.
And Erica, we also like just not only focus on like transaction and stuff, but also like we do shout outs like core value. Our core values are hungry, humble, smarts. Okay. What happened today that one agent expressed that, in our team. So we just post something about it. Or accountability, like we had accountability call, and then one agent bought like a cooler because they're putting together like a meal prep, right? So like you just like express, like posting social media, things that are happening today, right now, right after my call, I'm going to post something about that to celebrate our team, how we are taking care of accountability with each other. So that's like personal. One of our agents got engaged, or she's a mom and she just got 2 under contract and just happened today in Slack. So we try to do it on the go and things happen right now.
Yep. I like that a lot. And my goal is whenever I'm in conversation like this, I want to provide an actual blueprint for people. And I think you're helping to give us that mindset to do so. So Zach, you're doing 3 hours a day of lead gen for agents, and social media is one of those strategies. How much time are you spending on social media? And Anna, I think you did a great job of articulating like the vehicle in which you can do it's a gratitude, it's an affirmation, it's a celebration, it's a learned lesson, it's a core value thing. I'd challenge you all to make a list of 20 different things you can do on social media, and you'll be able to go and be like, okay, I can talk about this at this time because this person, right? You just have to have that mindset. So Zach, the question is, how much time are you spending on social media daily as a part of your 3 hours?
Probably 30 to 45 minutes of my 3 hours in that block. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the other 2 hours and 15 minutes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. What does that look like?
Yeah. So I use a software just like a CRM that we use CRM Interactive for our leads. I use Broker Kit as our
You said Broker Kit?
Yeah, Broker Kit.
Okay.
And I couple that with Market View Broker Data. That's a showing time product. So there's the Market View Broker Data that's just like the leads, and you load that into Broker Kit, which is like the CRM. Mm-hmm. And then I've built out campaigns, and it's mainly text messaging. And I will define what kind of agents I'm looking for, and I'll upload that into the CRM. And then I'm texting those agents, going through, they're texting them. No different than if I was texting leads. Like leads, text is an amazing medium to get people to respond to. So I'm just texting and I'm following up, and I've just created a pipeline no different than I do when I follow up with leads.
What kind of response do you get from people? Because you're going after people that already have their license, right? You're not casting a vision to people who are working at Dairy Queen saying, do you want to come and join our team and sell real estate? You're finding people that are already licensed, right?
Yeah. So, and through this medium, these agents are already licensed, and most of them have already had at least one transaction. For them to show up in that data, they have to have one transaction.
Okay.
Yep.
So really you're probably finding your best bet either, and I'm going to categorize it. You have the seasoned vet who's been doing this for forever and is going to tell you every time they're in a transaction how many years they've been selling real estate, which is one of my favorite things to have told to me. The second is somebody who is maybe 2 to 5 years in, or is finding their way, but hasn't necessarily hit their stride. And then there's those that are in 0 to 24 months who have maybe sold 1 or 2, but they are not quite sure who they're going to be in real estate. Which of those categories, if you even categorize them the same way, which of those has been your best success?
So I go after all of them. But the biggest success that's the most responsive has been the newer agent that's less than 24 months. Okay. That's needs some direction. And I think our model, what we've kind of designed for agents and our coaching atmosphere, really gears towards newer agents, because we're just very heavy on our systems and processes and coaching early on, the kind of the way that we do things in our ecosystem.
So what do these text messages look like? What are you saying to them that actually gets and elicits a response?
Yeah, so this is kind of goes in another layer. I'm always recruiting to a specific date and time. So we bring on people in our world in groups, and we call it a boot camp. And so we've got these boot camps scheduled out throughout the year. We run them about every 6 weeks. And so in these text messages, I'm generally saying, hey, lead first name, not sure if you've ever considered joining a team, but our team has a next boot camp starting July 11th. If you're interested, let me know, or click here for more information. And what it's doing, I have a link in that text message just taking them to a white page, a ClickFunnels page. It's meetthespraddlinggroup.com. And that outlines kind of our system through videos, through text. So they can kind of experience it before they experience it.
And Eric, this white page is amazing. We got like some agents interviews there, like what to expect in our system. So people are excited just to before the meeting, they already get to know us through that white page.
And you said that's meetthespraddlinggroup.com?
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments.
Thank you. Yeah, make sure it shares with everyone. But those that are watching the replay as well, meetthespraddlinggroup.com.
And for me, another thing that is very important is Calendly. We have a link that I always save with me. So I got a lot of Facebook messages about our team. Like, how can I have an interview with you guys, how I get to know. So I have a link that anyone that texts me or Facebook message me, I just send that link and they can schedule an appointment with Zach right away.
That's the Calendly.
For the Calendly. Yep. I love Calendly. So that process, I want to go back to the original question, because Anna, you as CEO, you're of course managing, leading, casting vision, running 20 agents and a strong base of admin. And I want to make sure you don't miss this point here, gang. They have great management and leadership for these people that are coming on. And it is irresponsible and probably sin 101, 201, and 301 for people to add a bunch of people to their team and not have great leadership for them. The boot camp is the first leadership piece, but making sure that they have direct reports, really great one-on-ones, accountability meetings, that sort, will help you retain great talent as well. So, Anna, I know you're spending a lot of time in those worlds. I want to go back, Zach. You had said, we'll say 45 minutes a day is going towards social media. You are then spending how much of your time in your CRM following up with these people and making new introductions and what have you?
So probably an hour to an hour and a half in the CRM. And then I'm generally doing, a couple appointments, Zoom calls with agents.
Okay.
In there. Those Zoom calls are normally 30 to 45 minutes long.
So that encompasses pretty much everything in that 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And folks, remember, I want to give you a blueprint so you know this. There's lead generation time, there's lead follow-up time, and there's appointment time. Am I missing anything, Zach and Anna?
No, that's a lot of it.
Okay. But then you, of course, have your boot camps that you're helping to lead, that you're teaching, that you're doing. You're doing one-on-ones and accountability things too. So there's a lot to it. Let's talk for a while about my favorite topic, deep or wide. Deep or wide. You've gone deep. And by the way, there was a question in here from somebody asking about the splits that you offer. I just want to name and frame. Your splits should be reflective on the value that you provide. And I don't think it's fair to say publicly, hey, these are the splits that somebody is offering, unless you fully understand the value stack. So if you want to talk with me, or if you want to talk with Zach and Anna offline, we can certainly better articulate that. But on something like this, you're going to hear a split and try to copy it. But if you don't copy the value, and if you don't bring the same heart to it, it doesn't matter. So with that, okay, you find people. How many touches, how many attempts does it take to actually get somebody to agree to a meeting?
So I send out a lot of text messages. I will send out 1,000 text messages at once. And generally I'm getting between about a 20% response rate from that. And that could be anything from leave me alone, stop, anything and everything, right? Mm-hmm. And then out of those 1,000 text messages, I will set, about 5 to 10 appointments with that. And a lot of my stuff, my initial appointment, I'm not nurturing the leads to get more appointments. I'm setting appointments. If they're doing an appointment with me, then I set them on a follow-up schedule. And then I'm following up the ones that set an appointment on that original text message. Mm-hmm. So I'm nurturing people that I've talked to. I'm not nurturing people that have said maybe or not. I'm nurturing the people that you've met with. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you could go much deeper with bandwidth and scalability. There's a lot of meat left on the bone, but it's been effective for what we're doing.
Okay. Stephanie asked the question, are you texting out of Sierra? You're texting out of another platform. BrokerKit. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I want to go back to the question that I had lost in my mind for a second, but I'm back to it, is the debate of deep or wide, because you've gone deep with your team in terms of showing partner in your own personal production, and you've gone wide with adding a lot of agents. You have the Zillow Flex account, which of course forces you to bring a lot of agents in to service this. Talk us through advantages and disadvantages of both. Anna, I want to hear from you.
this experience, yes, we were super, super deep. I was leveraged to that. I was like only doing money making activity. I was just negotiating from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. I only negotiated. I didn't write offers. I didn't went to inspections. I didn't do anything. I was just negotiating myself. So it got to a point that I could not take any breaks at all. Like literally, I was just negotiating no stop. I could not go even to like vacations. I always had to have my computer with me. So I was selling 170 houses myself, like being super leveraged, which was super profitable. We got to a point like I need a break. I need to go in a way that we, so that recruiting, yes, Zillow Flex kind of like pushes to the edge to go to that world. Like we never have done that before that. So we started like recruiting. And one thing that we learned, we made a lot of mistakes we're still learning. But one thing that we really learned is like, we can never, ever predict who is going to be productive. The people that had amazing interviews that we thought, oh my gosh, they're gonna do amazing. They never follow up. They got leads and they did 2 follow-ups. And then the people that were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen. They were 10% conversion. And they were here all the meetings. They were hungry. Like one thing that we learned, like we really cannot predict who is hungry, smart, who is gonna go after, and who is just talking, and maybe they just gonna sell 1 a month and they'd be okay with it. So for that, go ahead.
I want to touch on that too, because what Anna's saying is correct on the agent side of things. And when you go deep, it's both. You need to go deep. I think you should go deep first, and then once you go deep first, then you can go wide. When you're deep, you have to have, like, whoever you bring on your ecosystem, you have to make sure, because you're putting a lot of energy in that person. If it's a showing partner, if it's a negotiator, this person, you need to put them through a rigor of obstacles and hurdles to bring them into your world, make it very hard, and to vet them because you're only hiring generally one or two. So you can put these things in to get them, into your world. So you need to go deep first. But then once you go wide on the agent side, like to drive that ball down the field, like we don't know who's going to be productive. Like I can sit in an interview with an agent and they can tell me that they're hungry and want to do lead follow-up and all this stuff. But the people that we go through these interview process, who you never would think that would make it, are your top lead converters sometimes.
So that's what I kind of learn is like, when we go wide, it's okay, because we never know, who is going to be productive. And that's kind of the lesson that we learned.
But back to Eric's original question, I think one misstep that we made along the way. So for those of you who are just watching, like kind of our story, like we went super deep. Like Anna was a single agent, and then I came on as an ISA showing partner, and then I hired a showing partner. And then we hired an ISA to replace my ISA's responsibilities. So it was ISA, then 2 showing partners to the point of writing offers. Then we had someone that was writing the offers, physically writing the offers. The showing partners were discussing offer terms. And then Anna was taking over the transaction at the point of once the offer was basically accepted. And then she was taking that, quarterbacking that down the field to closing. We're able to do a couple hundred transactions a year that way. What we missed, so Zillow Flex came into our world about a year ago, and it forced us to grow extremely quickly to maintain our Zillow account. The key piece that was missing that we hadn't transitioned to yet was having this empire builder, this negotiator role that would have allowed Anna to completely step out of the business, to allow me to step out. And that portion of the business would have kind of ran on its own with little input. We missed that portion. So we were still very much involved in the deep role. Then we had to go over here to the very wide role.
Yeah, you kind of blew up deep unintentionally, right? Because you said, I need to tend to this new opportunity. And for those of you that haven't heard the terminology before in our world, an empire builder is somebody who runs your micro team. The micro team is for your own personal production. They move into the negotiator and the lead role. And your job is now to be the CRO, the chief relationship officer in that. So you shake hands, you kiss babies, you work 5 hours a week in that, and that actually will make you more money than your team usually will. So Zach and Anna, I appreciate that articulation of deep first and then wide. I do want to point out an opposite side of the coin, is that when you're going really fast with hiring, I will agree with you that you have no idea who's going to make it and who's going to find their way. There are, I think, some steps that you can do to increase your understanding of who they are. And what you're going to get out of them. Now, people will always surprise you, but usually if you follow a really regimented hiring process, and Zillow Flex has not allowed you that luxury. They haven't allowed you that chance to take a breath and to find some time. And so you have to play that game. So I don't spite you for it at all. You go where there's the fish biting. So I think that there's some nuanced pieces of really great reference checks and really great interviews. And when you're understaffed and everything feels on fire in a good and a bad way, you add some people and you break some eggs in the process. But here's what I love about Zach and Anna is that both of you are getting better and learning from your mistakes every day. And I know that one of the pieces that's an interesting side is the longer you spend in the hiring process, understanding that person's root goals and wants, needs, and desires in their life, and the deeper you build that relationship, the better it leads to retention on the other side, that they're emotionally connected. I know that you both are deeply emotionally connected to your people, but sometimes that isn't met because things are just moving so fast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I want to jump into this here because you guys are providing such great value. We're not even 30 minutes in and I'm learning some great things. I'll tell you, I have it on my horizon in Q3 to be bringing on a director of growth and somebody who is taking this seriously, because I think it's that big of a deal, especially as we're moving into this really strange, tough new season of normalizing our market. Robbie has said, we've been playing basketball on an 8-foot rim the last 2 years, and now it's more difficult. And so we have to train and we have to develop. I think that we have to talk first and make sure I don't miss any nuanced things on how you're getting these people. And then I want to talk about at the end of this, how you're training these people, because I think that is such a huge piece, is making sure that if you get great people, that you set them up for success with expedition. So what else are you doing to get great people, or what are some of those other things that our listening audience needs to hear and needs to know about how to get people?
I mean, what is the biggest thing for us has been building the brand through social media of agent success, that our agents come on and they're able to fairly quickly find success and traction in real estate. That's been important. That's the brand. And then the second thing is just the direct reach out attempts through BrokerKit, sending out text messages to agents and just getting responses and nurturing that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then as we've moved over to EXP is providing an opportunity now to where there is opportunity for our agents now to recruit and bring on more people. There's a little bit more incentive there. While we're definitely not telling them they need to recruit, it just provides more incentive for them to do it. We're starting to see more of that. So
yeah, the word recruitment has a negative stigma to it sometimes. If you're on the other side, it's like you're being sold something that you don't want. How do you make sure that you're not selling something that somebody doesn't want, that you're this used car salesman or used car dealer, and instead you're actually saying, hey, this is a new great opportunity for you and may help you reach your goals? What does that language pattern look like?
I think the word is attraction, right? How you attract them instead of recruit them, and how you attract them is make them like experience your team before they even talk to you, experience you before they even talk to you. So how do they experience their team? How do they experience our leadership before they even come? And they're super excited. Like I was in Branson, here, and a realtor saw me. I was in a resort, and he saw me. He started talking to me as he even he knew me before, as he already knew. I never talked to him, So that's what we want. Is we want, like, when Zach has that interview, the agent feels like they already know us, they already know our team. Like, we have some agents coming to experience our sales meeting, just to experience, to see. They come and visit us, and they talk to us as they're already, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been seeing on social media, in Facebook. Your sales meeting is so exciting. This is what I saw. That's so cool. Like, they come to our sales meeting as they already know us.
I think that it's the language pattern is just asking questions, like in lead conversion. It was never trying to convert a lead. It was never trying to sell somebody a home. It was just asking questions of where frustration points on. So, like, where can you help them?
Yeah.
So you're just asking questions like, hey, don't know if you're interested. Have you ever considered joining a team? And just by helping them, connect them, we know that we have a good product and a good training system and a good just platform for agents to plug into and start to have some success. So that's really what it's about. It's not about selling anybody anything.
Well, there's a unique thing with you at EXP or me at Real is if somebody comes in and they say, no, I don't want to join the team, there's still the opportunity to say, well, tell me about what you're looking for, the value you're seeking, the value you're getting. And now there's the opportunity to say, listen, I have a bit of a menu of services here. It's not just, this is the only meal we're serving is this great taco. Like we have a whole food truck of stuff you want, I just had a Choco Taco right before this. So I'm very focused on tacos. I'm pretty dedicated.
Yeah, it's like sellers. Like now you have a menu of service for sellers, not trying to fit them in one box. It just gives you a longer runway.
Yeah. Zach and Anna and I, along with about 115 other people, we're going to be in Park City, Utah in a couple of days. And I'm talking about this menu of services with great detail. So there's a little cliffhanger for the rest of you. Here's a great question. Are you incentivizing your agents on your team to bring people over?
So that incentivization comes kind of through EXP, just kind of the model that is. Where we're allowing them to, name the person that they bring over as their sponsor. EXP has some great, wonderful benefits for them, as does Real and other models out there.
We give $1,000, but then once we moved to EXP, we just went through that, outline.
So I'm going to quote my buddy Jordan Terrell. Jordan Terrell says this. He says, in this business, you're screwed if you're not successful, and you're screwed if you are successful. And so those of you who are like, I don't want to recruit, I don't want to attract, I'm going to tell you, your life is about to be screwed because you will lose your life to this business. If you're successful, you will lose your life to this business. If you're really growing, if you do great work, that will immediately bring more business to you. It matters a whole lot. And so how you're taking those steps of being intentional to attract people, I think, even if you don't look to grow your team or your downline today, you should make sure that what you're doing is celebrating people, highlighting them, giving a peek behind the curtain so they understand what your environment and culture looks like. Zach and Anna, would you agree with that?
100%. And even if you're just a single agent out there, or you have a small team and you don't want to grow this massive team, well, still celebrating and getting your name out there, being active in social media. We're coming out of this market that was really, really just different, and having that presence for other agents in your market that maybe you're co-opting with, for them to know that you're a great agent and that you're successful and that you're busy, just helps your business. So I think we're all in the marketing business.
Yeah, very much. I want to say this. Most of us don't teach our people how to market well. We don't teach our team members how to become really great marketers. And there's such opportunity in which to do so, because if they can generate their business, the stat for EXP and Real is 11% of people actually have somebody in their downline. It's only 11%. Amidst all the smoke and mirrors and everything else that you feel that maybe is out there, it's 11%. And one of the reasons why is because we have not taught our people how to become great attractors of. I don't even like the word recruitment very much. I want to be attractors of. But I want to give you all this tip, and then I have a question from Jennifer here that I want to ask. I was at a convention last month, and my real estate man crush, a guy named Ben Kinney with Place. Ben Kinney said this, and I know Zach and Anna, we have a mutual adoration of Ben. Ben said this. He's like, if somebody's going to start with you, your next boot camp starts on July 1st. here's what you need to say to them is I'm going to say, Anna, I'm really excited for you to come over and start on July 1st. I need you to come with 3 things before you start. Okay. I need you to promise me that you're going to bring this. Number 1 is you show up with a buyer who is currently wanting to look at properties, that you come in with somebody ready to go. Number 2, that you come with a seller who's interested in a CMA or is considering getting their house on the market, that you come ready to go with that. And then number 3, I need you to come with the name of somebody else who you think would be a great addition to the team. And I heard him say that, and I'm like, oh, like even before the person starts, set the expectation that this is a place where we bring in great talent and we want great talent. I actually think that everything Zach and Anna is saying is true and good. If you can go and teach your people how to become great marketers and great attractors of talent, problem solved. You got great people coming out of your ears at that point. So with all that, let's talk about culture. How do you figure out if somebody's a culture fit, and how much weight do you put into that when deciding who to attract and who to recruit?
So when we're bringing on people into our leadership team, it's absolutely huge that we go super deep. So if it's any admin role, if it's anything, a salaried agent within we're going through all the hiring steps, multiple interviews, and going really deep on our core values of being humble, hungry, smart. Now on the agents, we have streamlined that process. It originally was, hey, we're going to have an initial phone call. If you make it past the phone call, it's going to be a Zoom call with me. If you make it past that Zoom call with me, then it's going to be an interview with our director of operations and Anna. And if you make it through that, then it's going to be another phone call with Anna. Well, that's how we originally did it. And then our hand was forced with the growth of Zillow and the leads, where we had to really streamline that. And we scaled it back to, hey, it's one Zoom call with Zach. And then if the Zoom call, I feel you're a good fit, you feel it's a good fit, then we move forward. So very early on, I have to identify, is this person, and I think that you can tell very quickly in a conversation if someone has a humble heart and they're not just coming at you just saying that they know everything. Do they feel that they have a temperament that they're willing to learn?
Yeah, we're still looking for somebody that has our core values, hungry, humble, smart. But we are also learning that we recruit to the changes that we want in our team. Like every time when we recruit, because like some people recruit to your culture, but we recruit to what we want to change, where we can add or where we want to enforce it. I remember when we first brought up the buyer's consultation in our OGs, they were having a hard time to include that on their systems, to include the OGs. Then we had a boot camp and say, this is what we expect you to do, is the buyer's consultation. And we trained them. Every single one of them had a buyer's consultation because they didn't know any better. So for us, the new generation of agents, for the culture that we want to build, for the things that we want to, implement, was easier. And then the OGs was, holy crap, they're all doing a buyer's consultation. I got to put my shit together here. If they can do it, I can do it too. So we saw that the new people that we were training to what we wanted to happen, they didn't know any better. So we felt that the ones that we were hiring for the culture, for the things that we want to change in our team, they were doing what we wanted, and then bringing up, we call our subculture. We call the subculture. Why is that?
That's a beautiful articulation of hiring people for where you're going and not just where you are. I love that. Really, really valuable. With that being said, I think we've painted hopefully a clear picture for people when it comes to how to attract great talent. I will tell you, everybody's doing something different, right? Zach and Anna have huge opportunities and they need a lot of agents. And so they're moving very quickly. What are some of the pains that you have experienced from that? Because I think that speed has advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages are you get great people on. If they're not great, you find a way to get them off the team. But what kind of pains or headaches have you maybe experienced by moving so quickly? Or has it been more surprisingly successful than you expected?
I think it's been actually more successful in a lot of ways than we expected. But in a lot of ways too, it's just loyalty with agents, like going deep, like originally, like bringing on people, thinking a lot of these people were we're your friends, and that, you know, that you're buddies for life, and you pour into people, and then maybe they don't stick around as long as you thought that they would. So these relationships, emotionally, it can be very hard to know that, you know, this is a business. They're subcontractors at the end of the day. Agents are, and we're trying to always provide value and create a mutual relationship that we're, you know, all working together in. So, but I definitely think, you know, going fast, like if you're in a model where you're not prepared to go all in and go fast, like you're in this messy middle, like it can be very, very difficult, growing very quickly.
We're at a time right now, and I told my team this just yesterday. I said, do you remember what happened to restaurants 2 years ago when COVID hit? And they scrambled and they had to find a new way, and they had to operate with different rules. Like, we thought that was going to happen in real estate 2 years ago, and instead they lowered the hoop from 10 feet to 8 feet. And all of a sudden we were getting huge opportunities. Buyers were paying over the top prices. Sellers were just putting a sign in the yard and getting 20 offers on their house. And we all looked like champions. Well, now it's a 10-foot rim again. It's much more difficult. And I think that we are now experiencing our COVID market in a negative sort of way. I think that the great resignation that has happened nationally over the last 2 years is about to happen, or is happening right now in real estate, that people will look to say the grass is greener on the other side, usually because it's fertilized with bullcrap, but nonetheless, the grass is greener on the other side, or they will blame their brokerage or their team before they take personal accountability for their shortcomings. Tom Ferry just said last week, 40% of realtors in the United States haven't sold a house yet this year. And so we are about to experience a huge shift of where people are going. And I paint that whole picture to lead into this. We talked about get as the important part, but then there's, of course, the train part. One of the value propositions that we have is the leadership that we provide. And the leadership that we provide is oftentimes in the training and the accountability for our agents. So what does your training and accountability look like for the people on your team? What are your standards, that sort?
Yeah, so our training, everyone comes on into our world in a boot camp, like we mentioned earlier. So this is, we've scaled it back from, it was originally 2 weeks, we've scaled it back to 1 week, but it's in person, and we're just going top to bottom, working through all of our systems and our processes to operate in our world. Our CRM, our, you know, how we answer leads, how we follow up with leads, our follow-up plans, how to write offers, strength of offers, contract to close, all that. But then ongoing training, we have every week on Tuesday, we've got a team meeting that we're checking in. Everyone's checking in, going over their highs and lows around the room. And then we've got some kind of coaching piece on what's happening. And it's really a mastermind between the agents, something up to date for that week. And then on Wednesdays, we're doing a contract to close training with Ana that is just rotating topics. It's an hour-long Zoom call with the agents, mandatory the first 12 weeks. That's just going over the contract to close process. Ana's an amazing negotiator. She's an amazing agent on the backside and understands the contract inside and out, and really just pouring into the agents that way. And then on Friday, we have an accountability Zoom call the agents do with our lead manager, where they are going through, it's a group Zoom call, and he's going through and opening up CRM profiles of the agents, checking in how many past due tasks, and they're just masterminding, hey, what would you do here? What would you do differently? And everything's brought out in the open so everyone knows what's going on. Those are the 3 times that we're meeting, kind of the coaching, the accountability weekly. And then on Monday mornings, we are putting out into our closed Facebook group all the outbound attempts from every agent out of their CRM. So we're able to run a report and able to see calls, text, emails, how many outbound attempts the agent did the previous week. And we rank the agents in order, just in a simple chart from top to bottom, and it's transparent. There's no winners or losers. Here's what it is, last week's activity. And the group is self-accountable to itself. They're always trying to one-up each other. And what you see is the top of those people making outbound attempts are the ones that are consistently getting deals closed. So we're always going back to that.
And we also have our Slack channel. And our Slack channel, like, it's amazing, like the way that people ask questions on demand. answering questions on demand is very live and active. So it's like it's on demand questions, and if they're in something in trouble with a transaction and something, like we all tip in. So it's like a very like collaborative like environment to do so for sure.
What you two have built is pretty marvelous, and I'm really proud of you both as friends. Just knowing that you've gotten kicked in the teeth a few times and continue to push forward and find a way and continue to improve upon your processes. This was an intentional, selfish take for me because number one, I wanted our followers to learn from you. Number two, I wanted to learn what you were doing because I understand it a little bit, but I feel like I understand it a lot better now. I think that we approach this with the same heart and different strategies. And so what I love is highlighting somebody who does something maybe a little bit differently than I do, because for those of you listening or watching, this is a choose your own journey kind of thing. And if you just do exactly what I do, you're going to have limited success. If you do just what Ana and Zach do, you're going to have limited success. You have to find your way that's best for you. And I think that there's a handful of unique models that are out there. I want to end with this, and then I'm going to give Zach and Ana each final parting thoughts. And folks, if you haven't done so yet, we have an SOP event, standard operating procedures, which Zach and Ana will tell you until they're blue in the face. They are so important for a growing organization. We have an event coming up. It's all virtual in July. Go to hatchcoaching.com and get signed up for that. We'll also send you a follow-up email if you are watching live. But there's 3 pieces to this business. It's get, it's train, and it's retain. And the retention piece comes from quality time and proximity and customization. The get part, I think you guys are doing it on such a high level. I have a lot to learn from what you're doing. On the train part, you're doing both an original boot camp as well as continued dailies. And I think that's such a valuable give. And the retain piece, of course, is the hardest piece in all this, is to figure out what value can we consistently provide so that a person's world can continue to grow bigger within ours. So with that, Ana first, Zach second, give me a final takeaway or aha that you have or that you think our listening audience needs to hear.
My aha for this when we started is that, your social media has to be overloaded. Like before, they told me like you should just post 2 times a day, but like to break through the noise, to make a difference for realtors start learning and start attracting to you, you have to overload. I'll say like any moment that you can think of, you should post something about culture, core values, accountability, personal development, or success of your agents, so you can overload on social media so that can break through the noise. If you just do one time here and there, it's going to be difficult to attract.
And let me just say yes, 100%. I asked on our Hatch community for real estate on Facebook a week or 2 ago, those of you that are taking social media seriously, how much are you posting? And the answer I got was 70 to 100 times a week. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Zach, how about you?
I think mine goes to the retention piece. I think that's the biggest kind of the piece that we're all, at least me, we're trying to figure out. And it's the hardest piece. We get people in our world and we pour into them. And then when people leave, we're always kind of wondering, what was the reason behind that? So I think there's always a mindset. There's value that can be done there and you can always improve. But the other side of it too is a mindset too, that in this model of growing, that people are going to leave, and that's okay. And that they may come back around because the grass isn't always greener. Mm-hmm. But just having the mindset that people will leave, that you can try to change your model and try to accommodate every single person. They're going to tell you that, well, I'm not making enough money. And you try to adjust the split. And guess what? The next week they leave to a team that had a lower split, Mm-hmm. So just being true to your model, like being true to yourself, obviously still continuing to improve on relationships, the depth of that and proximity to your people, but just create a model and stick to it and constantly whenever you change something, people are going to leave. People will leave you based on how you brought them in. Not everyone, but a lot of people like certainty. So just always trying to be bringing on people, trying to retain people, do an amazing job for them, and then understand that people are going to leave. You're not going to be able to retain 100%. I don't think that's possible.
Gang, really thankful to have you here. Folks, give it up for Zach and Ana Spradling, power couple, Kansas City, Missouri. Send them all your referrals, give them all your business. I will see you guys in Park City in a couple days. And for the rest of you, check out our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/Hatch Coaching. Go to Hatch Coaching's website. Please get signed up for our SOP event coming up in mid-July, and we'll even be emailing you out a discount code. So with that, much love. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.